Well, we're joined now by Husker line Sean Callahan. Sean, can you confirm you're a good cook?
If I have time, and that's the key word when you cook is you have to have time to actually do things and prep and get ready. But I think it's like most of your listeners and you guys, time now is like 10 minutes.
So, but you do cook, Sean. I've seen it. I've eaten food that you've cooked. What do you have?
I would put my multi-tasking skills up, though, with anybody on anything I can do. And I'll have my air fryer, my grill, and my oven going all at the same time. Okay. Like when I'm in a real hurry. I can, and my mother-in-law could be over here sometimes, and she'll just get out of my way because I'm just running around the kitchen in circles trying to do 3 things at one time.
I've seen your multitasking skills. Okay, Sean, let's talk football. What's your read on what we're going to see at the quarterback position? What is that position going to look like on Saturday at 2:30?
Well, I thought they tipped their hand a little bit yesterday when Marcus Satterfield said that Jeff Sims took 50 to 55% of the reps. So does that mean 50 to 55% with the ones? But I thought that was a good sign right off the bat this week. So we'll see what today looks like when they go out there tonight and what Coach Rule says on Thursday. But I just have a suspicion that we'll see Sims in this game, knowing now what this offense is without Gabe Ervin Jr. available, without Ramir Johnson. They lost Xavier Betts back in August. They lost Isaiah Garcia Castaneda after the opener. They're down on playmakers. They need to have as many available guys now moving forward to utilize in this offense, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if we saw Sims in this game here Saturday.
The question is now, Sean, regarding the way they operate the offense, if it is Sims or Harburg. Now, Harburg had 21 carries the last game. Sims had 19 against Minnesota. You lost 2 running backs. You have Anthony Grant still, but are they more cautious in their play calling for quarterback runs, knowing they've already have 2 injuries at running back, or they carry on the way they've been doing it?
Yeah, that's always a complicated stat because some of those runs are just scrambles and sacks that get counted as runs. You look at the runs. There were 12 design runs for Harburg in the game on the actual calls that went for 78 yards. But then obviously he had scrambles. But 7 of those runs he had converted first downs. 39 of his yards came after contact. 4 of his runs went for 10 plus yards. So he was very effective on the 12 design run calls. But then there's the scrambles on pass plays that break down, and then the sacks that count as runs. So I think when you throw that number out there, you've got to know how many design runs are in there. And 12 is also the number we saw with Sims at Minnesota when he ran for almost 100 on those design runs. So I think that's the question. How many of those design runs are they going to call? Scrambles are going to happen for every quarterback. It's when do you say, hey, we're gonna use fullbacks and tight ends and have lead blockers for our quarterback to run. And Harburg was really good in that. Sims has been really good in that this year. Colorado took a lot of that away. You just didn't see near the amount of design runs. I think there was 4 in that Colorado game for Sims, and one of them was the long touchdown.
Sean, I'm always struck by how unforgiving the sport of football is. We really moved on quickly from Ramir Johnson and Gabe Ervin. It's just they're hurt. That's it. Move on. We got to figure out what to do. That's what we're doing. That's what we're all talking about. But I want to go back. What do they lose when they lose Gabe Ervin and Ramir Johnson?
Well, 2 guys that have started games in the Big Ten, played a lot of games at Nebraska, particularly Ramir. You go back all the way to 2019, he was playing at Nebraska. Gabe Ervin's the first freshman running back to ever start a season opener in 2021, and he's a great respected leader. So your heart breaks for both these guys. Rule made it sound like Ramir is a senior. Technically, he's listed as a junior. He could come back next year at the COVID year. So that would be something to watch. But yeah, you just, 2 guys that have started games at this level, it just changes the whole complexion of that room now when you have to go to Quentin Ives and Emmett Johnson as your other 2 options moving forward. But you hope those young men can have some quick recoveries now.
Join me, Husker line Sean Callahan. Sean, on the defense has been very, very good through 3 games. First game, of course, to lose 13-10. Defense was great. Second game, rough second half, but played overall pretty good. And, of course, played very well this past game. How surprised are you at how solid they have been through 3 games, or are you surprised at all?
we knew that they had a lot of veterans coming back on this team that they could build on, and I always thought the defense was going to be the strength. I think what's just surprising is how effective they've been rotating players. I mean, 35 guys played on defense. 27 of the 35 played more than 10 snaps in a game. I don't know if I've ever seen that in a while in Nebraska, where that many guys were able to play over 10 snaps. So Tony White has done a very good job. There's just a lot of versatility. I mean, Jamari Butler's now listed as a defensive end. He was a jack. Mekhi Bayer's playing jack. Javin Wright was a safety. Now he's a linebacker. Alex Bullock was a safety. He's now a linebacker. So they've really had a lot of versatility with what they can do. I mean, even Matt Rule said last night on the radio, I think Quentin Newsom can back out and play some safety when they so just the way they can have a lot of guys move around in different areas and spots. Prince Umanyalan is now playing the jack and no longer defensive end. I mean, there's just lots of that goes on with this system that's been fascinating to see how they've moved different players around.
Sean Callahan joins us from HuskerOnline.com from other entities. Sean, here's one for you. We don't talk about it enough. We only talk about it when it's going bad. Tackles. They don't miss tackles. How many blatant missed tackles have you seen this year?
Not many. I mean, I think it was 3, and I'll pull it up here right now to get the updated number here. But yeah, I think it was 3 missed tackles in the game the other night, which 3 missed tackles on 61 total plays. That's about as good as you're going to get. I mean, you're not going to see now. Colorado, they had some more. The Colorado game missed tackle number was that was at 14. So you're playing a team there with elite playmakers and guys in space, and that was a game where they didn't have their best tackling day. But the opener, they had only missed 6. So their tackling has been really, really good. Other than the Colorado game, when you're talking about some, Shedeur Sanders and some of those great playmakers they had, gave them a few problems in space, especially when the offense kind of had the turnover run there, just kind of put the defense in some tough positions. But the tackling, the physicality have both been really, really impressive, and the pass rush continues to get better.
Who counts those missed tackles? 6 in the opener, 14 against Colorado, and then 3 this week. Who does those? Is that Pro Football Focus?
Well, that's Pro Football Focus. I'm just going off of that. I mean, that's the NFL on NBC. I mean, they watch the games and they grade out the stuff. So obviously, it's an inexact deal. There could be some things that are wrong on there, but it's usually a pretty good barometer of where the team's at.
Do you remember? I don't remember 14 missed. I don't remember watching that game and going, man, they're missing a lot of tackles. This is getting embarrassing. 14 seems really high to me. Did you watch that game going, man, they're really having trouble tackling?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there could be some that happen right at the line of scrimmage that you just can't, where a guy is in position just doesn't make the play. So I mean, you're right. Like I said, it's a number that's debatable always every time you see stats like that.
Sure.
I mean, they credited Omar Brown with 3 in the back. Nash Hutmucker had 2.
Okay.
Javin Wright had 2. I mean, then a few other guys had 1 each.
Okay, Sean.
Sean, always good stuff. Thanks for the time. We will chat with you again next week.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Husker Online, Sean Callahan there.